When it comes to my career, I have been lacking inspiration, motivation, and action. But all of that changed when I read this book. And we're going to talk about it in this video. Cue the intro music. Hey singles, it's me Jay. Welcome back to my channel where we are mastering single life. Today's video is a book review on Gary Vee's book, Crushing It. So let's get started. I decided to do a book review video because one of my subscribers left a comment and said if I could talk about the book and how it changed me, and I said that's a great idea and I will definitely make a video. So here we are. Real quick, I like the idea of reading, but to be honest, I am not a good reader of books. It takes me too long to read a book. I find myself reading the pages over and over again because the words just didn't sit in my head. But I did decide to eat this elephant one bite at a time, and by eating the elephant I mean completing the entire book. Things look hard when you look at them in like a big picture, but if you break them down into bite-sized consumable pieces, then it's easier to get down. So for me, the easiest way to complete the book was to read one chapter a day. The book is only 15 chapters, so I figured I can get it done in about 2 weeks. So far, the book has been, how would I put it? This book has been a godsend, and it's been out for a while, and there have been people who made book review videos about this book, but I don't know what took me so long to get it, but I'm so glad that I was able to get it. How did I get this book? I actually went to my local library, checked this book out for free, and you can keep it for as long as you want, and you don't have to pay any book fines. But the library closed right before COVID, and they weren't going to reopen until after the COVID pandemic was over because they didn't want to take the risk of someone turning in a book and they had coronavirus, which means the germs of the virus would be on the book and you can get transferred that way, whatever. They didn't want to take in any books. So I've been keeping this book. I've had this book since the beginning of March, and I'm just now getting through to it. So let me tell you about the book. Each chapter has a specific focus, okay? So chapter 1 is called The Path is All Yours. Chapter 2, What Still Matters or What Matters. Number 3, The Eighth Essential. Number 4, What's Stopping You, which is an important chapter. Number 5, The Only Thing You Need to Give Yourself to Crush It, which was Permission. 6, First Do This. 7, Get Discovered. 8, Musical.ly or Musical.ly is a chapter, but Musical.ly actually turned into TikTok, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But that was chapter 8. Chapter 9 is on Snapchat. Chapter 10 is on Twitter. 11 is on YouTube. 12 Facebook. 13 Instagram. 14 podcast. 15 voice first, and then the conclusion, acknowledgments, and notes. So the reason why it's important to hear all of the chapters and their names is so that you can see or comprehend or get an idea that each chapter, Gary Vee is telling you specific techniques and tools that will help you be successful on that particular platform or in that particular way. So for instance, if he says, what's stopping you? That chapter talks about the things that we allow to get in our way that are stopping us from achieving our goals, and whether it's building our business or building our influence and our personal brand. Another thing about this book, he has another book called Crush It, but this one is called Crushing It, and the subtitle is How Great Entrepreneurs Build Their Business and Influence, and How You Can Too. So the most important part about this book is that he interviewed dozens of entrepreneurs who were beasting it in their own businesses, but also beasting it on social media and building their either business brand or their personal brand. And they gave quotes, and they also told their story in this book, which I didn't know what was going to happen when I first picked up this book. I just thought it's going to be Gary Vee giving me some advice on all these different platforms and how to optimize my opportunities and how to max out all of my social media posts and how to work every day. Because if you're unfamiliar with Gary Vee, his whole, I don't want to say mantra, but his belief is that if you want to be successful, you need to work at it every single day, and you need to give up the things that aren't helping you be successful in the thing you want to be successful in. For instance, you need to give up hanging out with your friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. You need to give up Netflix. You need to give up reading the magazine or the newspaper every week, doing your crossword puzzles, all of that stuff, all of those leisurely activities that help you unwind, cut all of those out and work on your business, on your personal brand. That is the only way you are going to be successful in growing your business or your personal brand, according to Gary Vee. And I've been watching Gary Vee for a few years. I don't agree with everything that he says, but about 86.5% of what he says about building your business and your personal brand, I agree with. I think I connect so much with Gary Vee is because he comes from an immigrant family who had to work twice, if not three times as hard to be on an equal playing field as Americans who were born here and had opportunities just kind of given to them. As a Black American whose parents are from the South and whose parents lived through the civil rights movement, I identify with his story because it's like my family went through the same thing. You know, they were not giving Black people opportunities to be doctors and lawyers and judges. It was like, you're in the service industry in some fashion, you're working in a cotton gin, you're working for the railroad. It was all based on labor and service. So the fact that he's saying, I learned my work ethic from my immigrant parents who had to hustle. I learned my work ethic from my Southern parents who had to hustle to get, 50 cents on the dollar than their white counterparts in the South. And they scrimped and saved and worked super hard to send us to college. And it's up to me to make this a success of myself and take everything I've learned from them and their experiences and put that towards making something of myself. So me and Gary Vee are like this, just because he's from Belarus and I'm from East St. Louis, we have that similar, like, hey man, our parents went through some ish to survive. So we have it easier just because of generationally, because I grew up in the 90s. I'm an 80s baby, but I grew up in the 90s and was in college in the millennium. It's like I didn't have to go through segregation and then integration and then Jim Crow law. I didn't have to go through all of that. So I'm already at an advantage just because I was born in a time period where things were different, and it allowed me to be successful. I was allowed to go to college because it wasn't illegal, and I have a master's degree and I'm a college professor because I'm allowed to. Like, nobody is saying Black people can't do this legally anymore. But back then, yeah, Black people were outlawed in doing certain things. Mingling with white people was one of them. So that's just my little connection to Gary Vee. And because he and I connect on that level of, hey man, we have a heritage of people who struggled for more opportunities for themselves and their children, I immediately felt that I need to listen to him more. Like, there's a lot of people out here who are talking about business development and building your brand and personal growth and business growth and money and finance and wealth and blah, 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 blah. But none of them really hit me to my core like Gary Vee did. So Gary Vee, if you're watching this, spasiba. Пожалуйста. All right, that's literally all the Russian I know. But anywho, I might know a little bit more. Nah, I know more Serbian than I do Russian. But anywho, back to the book. So, each entrepreneur spoke to me in some specific way, whether they were a dog walker or trainer, whether they were a mechanic and owned an oil changing franchise, or whether they own their own social media marketing business. Every story of every entrepreneur was like, man, I get that too. I've been in places where I felt like I was too old. I had too many kids. My husband isn't going to support me. This is not my story specifically. For me, I felt like I was too old. It was too late for me. I didn't have enough money. I wasn't going to be successful. It was self-doubt. It was imposter syndrome. So all of the things I've been feeling that have been stopping me from achieving my goals or even pursuing my goals. Forget the achieving part. The thing that has stopped me from going after my goals with full steam ahead is imposter syndrome, self-doubt, lack of self-confidence, and lack of funds, lack of support, really. But reading this book in these individual chapters and hearing the stories from the other entrepreneurs, I was like, dang, they went through that too. I'm not the only one. Oh man, so if they can get over it, amen, and they can build $1 million business and they can build $1 million personal brand, then doggone it, so can I. And I needed this book during this time because the typical industry I work in is video production. So I typically work in commercials, photo shoots for magazines, or videos for social media, or commercials, not commercials, television shows, reality shows, movies. I typically work in production. That's usually my area of, I don't want to say expertise, but that's where my money comes from. That's the industry in which I work. That industry is kind of non-existent right now, and to be honest, I don't know when it's going to open back up. I have to trust in God that the industry I love and that I love being a part of and working in is going to come back with a vengeance, and there are going to be opportunities for me to work, because there's going to be so many. I'm going to have to turn some down. So I'm looking forward to that day, and I have faith in God that that day will come. But in the midst of it, it's difficult for me to be as optimistic, because it's like, dang, they shutting down this, they shutting down that, this studio isn't opening. But this book here, let me know that it's coming. If it's for you, it is for you. You just have to keep at it. You have to keep trying. You have to maybe try a different avenue. But what you want for your life is out there in some capacity. A lot of people talked about how they thought they were going to be one thing, and then life happened and they had to pivot. One guy was a baseball player in college, and he thought he was going to get signed to the major leagues, but then he tore his shoulder or something, and there goes his MLB career. And it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? Well, I need to pivot into this. And that was just like, oh my God, every single story was like, that's me. That happened to me in some capacity, whether it was I lost my job, I lost my home, I lost my mate. There was something about these individual stories where I was like, oh, this happened to me, but it happened like this, or this happened to me, but it happened at a different time or with a different person or whatever. Brilliant book, filled with inspiration, but more importantly, it has inspired me. The inspiration that I've gathered from this book has motivated me to take action in my own life. You see that circle there? Inspiration, motivation, action. Okay, they work in tandem. They work together in a conduit. Amen. In a conduit to get you to where you need to be, where you want to be at your core, but where you need to be. When I say need, is because you won't feel at peace or at ease until you get to that place. But sometimes it is hard to get motivated to do the thing. It's like this book also talks about social media. It's mainly about using social media to build your brand, whether it's business or personal. To be honest, it's hard to get motivated to post an Instagram photo, or to tweet, or to make a YouTube video. Side note, making YouTube videos are not as easy as people make it to look on YouTube, Matt Diavella. But if I want to grow my brand, whether it's easy for me to do or not, whether it's whether I'm reluctant to do it, I have to do it. It's one of those things I have to do in order to reach my goal and to be successful and build a successful personal brand or business brand. It's just like, if I want to lose weight, not if, I do. I want to lose 20 pounds. I've lost 20 pounds already. January 2019, I was 202. Right now, I weigh 177. I want to lose 20 more pounds. But in order for me to do that, I can't eat pizza. I can't have pasta. I can't have wine. I can't have tacos. I'm sorry. But it is all for my good. I know that once I get on the scale and I weigh what I want to weigh, then it would have been worth the sacrifice of tacos. Maybe not tacos, but it would have been worth giving up pizza and pasta and wine for. Still not sure on tacos, but so that's what you have to think about when you think about your business that you want to grow or your personal brand. It's like, I really love my friends. I really love my boyfriend and my children, but I need to sacrifice some things with them, some time. I need to sacrifice some energy that I don't have. I need to be up at night 2 more hours than I usually would in order to do the things that need to be done in order for me to grow my business or personal brand. The chapter that I think meant the most to me was it chapter 6? It was about a guy who was an architect, and during the Great Recession of 2000, I would say between 2008 and 2010, he lost his job, and he had this very particular type of certificate called a LEED certification. And you have to take a particular exam in order to get this LEED certification. And it's a really tough exam. It's like taking the bar. But he made these great notes or whatever and put them online. Well, he was able to go back to that after he lost his job and monetize it and turn that into a business. And it's like, oh man, this book teaches you that it's important to think out of the box. I wouldn't say it teaches you how to think out of the box, but it definitely makes you think. It definitely solidifies that thinking out of the box is essential to your success. When you want things to happen in a certain way and there's an obstacle that you can't get over, under, or around, it's like, okay, what do I do now? I need to pivot and go this way. I'm still aiming for the same goal, but I just gotta, as they say in the South, I gotta retch around and go this way in order to make that happen, okay? We can't always have a straight path to our goals. Sometimes we gotta retch around, we gotta go this way, we gotta pivot, we gotta change direction, we gotta change course. Sometimes you gotta go backwards, amen, to go forward, okay? So there's so many gems in this jeweled book. It's a old gold colored, bright yellow, neon yellow, but I didn't even know Gary Vaynerchuk from Belarus. Also by way of, is he in Brooklyn, New York? I don't know. He's a Jets fan. He's a huge Jets fan. He loves like nostalgic tchotchkes and stuff. He wants to buy the Jets. He loves rap music, loves sneakers and baseball cards. I think that's his thing. He got started with his dad's wine store, and then he made a YouTube channel, became like a wine expert, and he could tell you about the wines and how what food they compared to or not compared to, but complemented. What foods complemented the wines, or what wines complemented which foods, top notes, bottom notes, floral notes, all that kind of stuff. But he managed to turn that into a huge YouTube channel, was able to grow his dad's wine business to like a $60 million business. That's insane. On wine? That's insane. But hey, he did that. He had that immigrant mentality, work ethic, like work. Like nothing was going to stop him until he reached his goal. He's constantly moving goals. He invested in Twitter. He invested in Uber. He's a venture capitalist. He has his own media company called VaynerMedia. The guy himself is smart, and what he wrote about in this book is smart. And the entrepreneurs that he interviewed in this book are definitely people who are inspirations to me. Some of them I knew about already. Amy Landino, or actually her name was Schmidt. Her Twitter handle used to be Schmidtastic, but her married name, she married an Italian guy. Her married name is Amy Landino. Her YouTube channel is Amy TV. Really great, really great content creator. She has a blog. She has a book too called Good Morning, Good Life. And she has a course on how to blog like a boss, all that type of stuff. But she's great. I follow her as well. So there are just great people, great gems, great information in this book. I recommend that you get it. Get it on Amazon. Get the Audible. Get it from your local library. See if library. God, that was so country of me. Library. See if one of your friends has it and is willing to part with it until you are done reading it, and then give it back to them, or purchase your own copy. There's still a Barnes & Noble open somewhere. But at the end of the day, bottom line is get this book if you want to grow a business of your own, or if you want to build a personal brand or influence. So when I mean personal brand, it's like if you want to be a public speaker talking about how to get over the loss of a child, or how to deal with the PTSD of rape, or having to start over when your house burned down and you lost everything, or you want to public speak about what it's like being an ex-felon in America today. If that's a personal brand, because your brand is you. You're in the business of you. People want to buy from you. They want to listen to you. They want to hear from you. They want to be guided and taught by you. That is a personal brand business. So if that's what you want to do, get this book from Gary Vee. Gary Vaynerchuk is his whole name. It's called Crushing It. Crushing It. Social media icons up top. I know that was flat. My high school choir director would not be happy about that. Sorry, Miss Carter. I didn't vocalize. My bad. And if you are so inclined, pick up Gary Vee's other book called Crush It. He also has another book called Ask Gary Vee, and another book I can't think of right now. Follow him on YouTube. I'm telling you, he dropping free gems on how to get your life together, build your business or personal brand. I hope this video helped you guys. I hope you enjoyed this review of Gary Vee's Crushing It. I was not paid for this review. Again, I got this from the library. I did not pay for it. I will return it to the Illinois Library. If you guys really like this video, then give me a like, because I appreciate those thumbs. And if you want to see more videos from me about mastering single life, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. I always say that wrong. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm talking about cooking for one, because I'm single, finances for one, because I'm single, and then other lifestyle things like solo travel, fitness, so on and so forth. Follow me on all of my social media at JSoExtra, and I will see you guys next time for another video. But in the meantime, stay safe.